Good day, sports fans, and welcome to lecture number 5 of Cricket South Africa's Level 2 umpiring course, brought to you by Western Province Cricket Umpires Association. My name is Tom Mokorosi, and as usual, my batting partner for this evening is Abdullah Steenkamp. The format of tonight's lecture is as follows. I will take you through laws 34 through to law 40, which are the remaining mode of dismissal laws. And then Abdullah will take you through law 41, fair and unfair play. And then I will take you through the answers to the quiz questions, which we will pose along the way. Then, of course, we will go through the chat box and we will answer any questions and comments that have been posed while we were presenting. And then we will open the floor up to any live questions to be asked by the candidates. So starting off with law 34, hit the ball twice. Let's watch a animation video to take us through this law.
Hit the ball twice. Hit the ball twice and you're out. Unless, of course, you're defending your wicket or it was accidental, in which case you're still in. The striker is out hit the ball twice if, while the ball is in play, it strikes any part of his person or is struck by his bat and, before the ball has been touched by a fielder, he willfully strikes it again with his bat or person. The key word here is willfully. But if this had happened instead, the batsman would remain in. In other words, inadvertent double strikes don't count. The batsman is allowed to hit the ball a second time in order to guard his wicket. He can use his bat or almost any part of his body. He cannot, however, use a hand that's not holding the bat. The only time you can't use your bat to hit the ball twice to defend your wicket is when it would prevent a catch. The batsman can also hit the ball a second time in order to return it to a fielder, as long as a fielder has given him permission to do so. If you'd like to swat up on this a bit more, simply turn to Law 34 in the Blue Book, where you'll find all the nitty-gritty detail you need.
So we have learnt the theory on hit the ball twice. Now let us put it into practice. Our first quiz question is up. Quiz question 34, referring to Law 34. Is this batter out, hit the ball twice, or is he not out, hit the ball twice? Let's watch the video and then you can type your answer into the chat box.
Oh, that's a good ball there. It's directed at the batsman again. And once more, we just see Thakur charging halfway down the pitch without even looking at his strike partner. Take another look at this. Is this for the double hit? Yeah, that's exactly what it's for. He just hit it twice. Yeah, that's incredibly unprofessional there by Mughal. So he's dismissed officially as handled the ball.
So the commentator says there he's dismissed officially as handled the ball. That's probably why Abdullah doesn't like having the commentators on our quiz questions. I always put them on for a bit of theatre and a little bit of confusion. So please put your answer into the chat box. Q34 out or Q34 not out. I will go through the answers to all of the quiz questions after Abdullah has presented Law 41. Now let's move on to Law 35, hit wicket. When is a batter out hit wicket? Of course, it's only the striker who can be out hit wicket. Law tells us that the striker is out hit wicket if after the bowler has entered the delivery stride. So here we have the opening of the window as to when a batter can be out hit wicket. The batter can only be out hit wicket between 2 points, and the first point is after the bowler has entered the delivery stride. So let's read on. And while the ball is in play, his or her wicket is put down by either the striker's bat or the striker's person in any of the following circumstances. So if the striker is in the course of any action taken by him or her in preparing to receive or in receiving a delivery and puts down his or her wicket, then the striker can be out hit wicket. If in setting off for the first run immediately after playing or playing at the ball, the striker puts down his or her wicket, then the striker will be out hit wicket. If the striker has made no attempt to play at the ball, and in setting off for the first run, providing that in the opinion of the umpire, this is immediately after the striker has had the opportunity of playing the ball, then the striker puts down his or her wicket, then they will be out hit wicket. If the striker, in lawfully making a second or further stroke for the purpose of guarding his or her wicket, puts down his or her wicket, then they will be out hit wicket. So we've spoken about the opening of the window period as to when a striker can be out, and we said that it was after the bowler has entered his or her delivery stride. So what happens if the striker puts his or her wicket down in any of the ways described in the previous slide, but before the bowler has entered the delivery stride? Then either umpire shall call and signal dead ball. That delivery will need to be, it won't be rebowled, but the striker luckily will not be out hit wicket. Okay, so if the striker puts his or her wicket down before the bowler has entered the delivery stride, either umpire shall call and signal dead ball. So because the bowler has not yet reached his or her bowling action, then that delivery will not be bowled. And of course, it does have to be bowled eventually by the start of a new run-up and a delivery stride, and the delivery to follow. In this slide, we're going to learn when a striker is not out hit wicket, and we're also going to determine the closing of that window period as to when the striker can be given out hit wicket. So if the striker puts down his or her wicket, but it occurs after the striker has completed any action in receiving the delivery, then he or she will be not out hit wicket. What does this mean? This means that the window period for a striker to be out hit wicket closes when the striker has completed receiving the delivery. So when they have completed the follow through, if their shot has a follow through, then once they have completed their follow through and they haven't put down their wicket, then the window period for hit wicket has closed. And that is also in a leave shot. Obviously, normal cricket shots have a follow through, maybe except for the forward defensive, but a leave shot can also have a follow through. We watched a video in our level 1 course with Brandon Taylor of Zimbabwe, putting his wicket down after he had left the ball, but after the follow through of his leave shot. It wasn't actually a leave shot. He attempted a ramp, he missed the ball, and then when he put his arms down and swung a little bit afterwards, did he put his wicket down. That was after the window period had closed. If the striker puts his or her wicket down in the act of running, but it is not when the striker immediately set off for the first run, then there will be not out hit wicket. So the window period for a striker to be out hit wicket has a second closing. The first closing is after they've played their shot and the follow through of the shot. If they don't put their wicket down, then the window period closes. If they don't put their wicket down and they don't immediately set off for a run, then the window period closes. The next point here says that if the striker puts his or her wicket down in the act of running, but it wasn't in immediately setting off for the first run, that window period closes if they don't set off for the first run immediately. So imagine a batter hits the ball, but it goes straight to the cover fielder, and they say, wait, wait, wait. And then the cover fielder misfields, and the ball goes towards deep extra cover. Only after the misfield does the striker say, yes, let's run. And in attempting to take off for that first run, he slips and puts his wicket down by his foot. That will not be out hit wicket. Why? Because the striker did not set off immediately after hitting the ball. Okay. He or she waited until there was a misfield by the cover fielder and then took off. So that would not be out hit wicket. If the striker puts his or her wicket down when they are trying to avoid being run out or being stumped, they will not be out hit wicket. Imagine a striker double steps a spin bowler, misses the ball, and because they are out of their crease, they don't want to get stumped, so they turn around and dive back into their crease, and their bat, in diving back into the crease, hits the wicket and puts the wicket down fairly. Would that be out hit wicket? No, that would be not out hit wicket, because they were trying to avoid being stumped. If the striker puts his or her wicket down when tried to avoid a throw from the outfield, they will not be out hit wicket. If the striker puts his or her wicket down, but the bowler, after entering the delivery stride, does not deliver the ball, then the striker will not be out hit wicket. Remember that the hit wicket dismissal is credited to a bowler. So the bowler has to bowl the ball for the striker to be out hit wicket. Therefore, if the bowler does not release the ball or not deliver the ball after entering his or her delivery stride, and then the striker puts his or her wicket down, the striker will not be out hit wicket. The ball also has to be a legal delivery for a striker. In fact, it can be a wide, but it cannot be a no ball. So if the delivery is a no ball, then the striker will not be out hit wicket. Okay. So let's watch an example of a hit wicket dismissal. The famous Indian batter Sachin Tendulkar facing Brett Lee of Australia.
Single, here he goes, he pushes back and he's gone. Hit wicket, it's 2 for 26. What he's saying is, I was pushing off for the run, I've completed the shot, but the rule's been changed. Once you break the stumps, no matter how you do it, that's out.
So whether you consider that backward step as part of Sachin Tendulkar's shot, or you consider it as the first step of his first run, it was taking off immediately after hitting the ball. He trod on his stumps. Sachin Tendulkar rightly given out hit wicket. Okay, so even if he wasn't attempting a run, I think he was still completing his shot when he trod on his stumps. Okay. Next law that we are going through is law 36, leg before wicket. Once again, let's watch an animation video to take us through this law.
Leg before wicket. LBW. LBW is a little like the offside rule in football. Many people claim to know it, but how many people really do? Our handy checklist means that whether you find yourself umpiring an international test match or the kids on the beach, your reputation for fairness will remain intact. There are 5 basic criteria to consider. The batsman is out, leg before wicket, if 1. The bowler bowls a ball that isn't a no ball, unlike this poor fellow. 2. The ball, if it is not intercepted on the full, pitches in line between wicket and wicket or on the offside of the batsman's wicket. It cannot be out if the ball pitches outside the line of the leg stump. 3. The ball hits the batsman either full pitch or after pitching and before he hits it with his bat. 4. This is where it gets a bit more complicated. If the batsman was making a genuine attempt to play the ball, the point of impact must be between wicket and wicket for LBW to be an option. However, if the batsman has made no genuine attempt to play the ball, the contact must either be between wicket and wicket or outside the line of the off stump. 5. This is the crucial part. But for the interception by the batsman, the ball would have gone on to hit the stumps and dislodge the bails. Any questions? Just refer to Law 36 in the Blue Book.
Right, let's just summarize all of that in a slide. The ball should not be a no ball. If not intercepted on the full, it needs to pitch in line between wicket and wicket, or it can pitch outside the off stump. It should not have touched the bat first of the striker. The striker intercepts the ball with any part of his or her person. The point of impact, even if it is above the level of the bails, is between wicket and wicket, unless the striker has made a genuine attempt to play the ball with his or her bat, and the impact is between wicket and wicket. If the striker has not made a genuine attempt to play at the ball with his or her bat, then the impact can be outside of the off stump. Very importantly, the last thing to consider, if it were not for the impact with the person of the striker, the ball would have gone on to hit the stumps. Okay. So, next quiz question this evening. Is this out LBW or is this not out? We're going to take you through the decision review replays, but right at the end, we won't see the result.
Fair delivery. 10 seconds.
Review for LBW. Given out on field. Review for LBW.
Copy that. Player review, given out on field. There's a player review for LBW, given out on field. I've checked the feet. It's a fair delivery. I'm looking at front on split screen all the way through. Keep going all the way through, all the way through. Ball pass is very close to the gloves. I'm going to need ultra edge to confirm if there's any gloves involved, please. Ultra edge coming up. Flat line at this point. Keep going all the way through. Passing first gloves, flat line, flat line, flat line. Yes, to my left, I'm seeing a clear gap between the ball and the gloves. Satisfied, no gloves involved. Move to ball tracking when ready, please.
Okay, that's where we're going to stop it for you. Please type in your answers into the chat box, Q36 out or Q36 not out. I will go through all the answers to all the quiz questions at the end of the presentation. Moving on to Law 37, Obstructing the Field. Let's watch another animation video to take us through this law.
Obstructing the field. A batsman is out obstructing the field if he or she willfully attempts to obstruct or distract the fielding side by word or action. Like this, for example. Thank you, Tommy. In particular, it is considered to be obstruction if, while the ball is in play and after the striker has played the ball, either batsman willfully strikes the ball with a hand not holding the bat or any other part of his or her person, or with the bat. The exception to this is when the batsman is attempting to defend his or her wicket. The batsman may do this with the bat or any part of his or her person, except with a hand not holding the bat. If the batsman uses such a hand, he or she will be out obstructing the field. The handled the ball law no longer exists, with such incidents now covered by obstructing the field instead. The obstruction has to be willful. Accidental obstruction, or obstruction caused by trying to avoid injury, does not count, and the decision on that is down to the umpire. It's worth noting that if a catch is obstructed, it is the striker who is out, even if it was the non-striker who caused the obstruction. Mind you, it's not always an easy decision. Here, the batsman deliberately crosses out of the legal running area in order to attempt to obstruct a throw. There is no other reason why the batsman should be running across the pitch. What looked an accident was, in fact, an illegal incident. To avoid any possible confusion, read Law 37 in black and white in the Blue Book.
Okay, so we've learned the theory on obstructing the field. Let us apply it to another real match situation. Quiz question 37.1. Is this Matthew Wade appeal out or is it not out? Obstructing the field.
Oh, there's bat into helmet. Butler. Oh, Wood. Oh. Well.
Top edge on the lid.
So, Junior, are you saying that the an umpire, third umpire? Oh. So the third umpire can possibly make a ruling without an appeal. Gee, that's
That's a good question.
not looking like he's focusing totally on just getting back there, does it? I can't
Well,
say I know what Matt Wade was thinking, but when that arm went out there,
I think originally he wasn't. He was a bit disorientated. Wasn't sure where the ball was. He was playing a bit of AFL.
Okay, please type in your answer in the chat box. 37.1 out or 37.1 not out. Please make sure you type 37.1 because there is another quiz question related to obstructing the field, which would be 37.2. So please write 37.1 out or 37.1 not out. Let's learn a little bit about obstructing the field from a ball being caught. If the delivery is not a no ball, means it's a fair delivery, the striker is out obstructing the field. If there is willful obstruction or distraction by either batter and it prevents the striker from being out caught. So let's just think about this. Batter hits the ball up in the air and bowler's coming underneath the delivery to catch it. If either the striker or the non-striker bump the fielder or the bowler out of the way and prevents the catch from being taken, if this is a fair delivery, then it does not matter who bumped the bowler. The striker will be out obstructing the field because the striker was prevented from being out caught. The obstruction prevented the striker from being out caught. Okay. The above shall apply even if an obstruction is caused by the striker in lawfully guarding his or her wicket. If, however, there is a no ball, then and a obstruction or distraction occurs, the batter who caused the obstruction or distraction will be out obstructing the field. Okay. However, the striker is not out if the obstruction of a catch occurs while defending his or her wicket from a no ball with a second lawful strike. Okay, that all sounds a little bit complicated, but it will become a lot clearer in this quiz question 37.2. Let's watch carefully. Have a look at the non-striker, check their running line, and make your decision. Is the striker not out? Is the non-striker out obstructing the field, or is the striker out obstructing the field? Let's watch the video and then make our decision.
Oh! Now then, it looked like the ball had gone straight up to the bowler.
He didn't change direction and had gone upstairs.
Let's move forward. Move forward. Yeah. Yeah. Satisfied. He's.
Okay, I'm going to stop it there. Interestingly enough, Curtly Ambrose, one of the commentators, said the non-striker, he didn't change direction. But have a close look as to where that non-striker ran.
Let's move forward. Move forward. Yeah. Yeah. Satisfied. He's.
Okay, so please type your answer into the chat box. Q37.2, not out, or Q37.2, non-striker is out, obstructing the field. This was a fair delivery, just by the way. Or C, Q37.2, C, the striker is out, obstructing the field. I will go through all the answers to all our quiz questions after Abdullah has presented Law 41. Are there any runs that can be scored when a batter is out obstructing the field? Let's see what the law says. When either batter is dismissed obstructing the field, unless the obstruction or distraction prevents the striker from being out caught, any runs completed by the batters before the offence shall be scored, together with any one-run penalty for no ball or wide, or any other award of 5 penalty runs. So if there was an obstruction on the third run, then the first 2 runs would count. The third one would not count. If the obstruction or distraction prevents the striker from being out caught, any runs completed by the batters shall not be scored, but any penalty runs awarded to either side shall stand. So similar to when a striker is out caught, no runs, no matter how many times they crossed before the obstruction that led to a catch not being taken, no runs will be scored off that delivery. Lastly, the bowler does not get credit for a obstructing the field dismissal. 3 more laws that I'm going to go through. Law 38 is a run out. When is a batter out, run out? Law tells us that either batter is out, run out if at any time while the ball is in play, he or she is out of his or her ground and his or her wicket is fairly put down by the action of a fielder. Even if a no ball has been bowled and whether or not a run is being attempted, the batter will be out, run out in these circumstances. When is a batter not out, run out? A batter is not out, run out if he or she has been within his or her ground and has subsequently left his or her ground to avoid injury when the wicket is put down. Very important, and this will be necessary to know in our next quiz question, so keep it in mind. The batter shall not be out, run out if he or she has been within his or her ground and has subsequently left their crease to avoid injury when the wicket is put down. If the ball has not subsequently touched a fielder after the bowler has entered the delivery stride and before the wicket is fairly put down, then the batter will be not out, run out. For a batter to be out, run out, there needs to be a touch by the ball, putting the wicket down from the member of the fielding side. So if there is no touch of the ball from the member of the fielding side after the ball has been delivered, before the wicket is fairly put down, then the batter will be not out, run out. If the striker is out stumped, then they will not be out, run out. If a ball is delivered that is a no ball and the batter has double stepped, so is out of his or her crease, but is not attempting a run, and the wicket is fairly put down by the wicket keeper without the intervention of any other fielder, then the batter cannot be out stumped, because you cannot be out stumped off a no ball, and is also protected from being out, run out, because there was no intervention of another fielder. Okay. This scenario that I've just described, it is effectively a stumping attempt by the wicket keeper, and a striker cannot be out stumped off a no ball, and also is protected by this law from being out, run out, if it is a no ball and it is the wicket keeper who puts the stumps down fairly, and the striker is not attempting a run. That's very important. Okay. So let's watch quiz question 38. Is this batter out, run out, or are they not out, run out? Apologies for the camera work, not the best, but it is quite well described by the commentator.
Again, there he is walking down the pitch.
Lack of pace off the pitch has made sure it's quite possible. The on-field umpires has gone upstairs to check run out.
We have a referral for run out.
Utkarsh Pipes, our umpire partners.
Give me the best side on this.
Well, there seems to be a bit of conversation going on between.
I can find no part of the bat or person of the batter behind the line when the wicket is put down. I'm ready with my decision for the big screen.
This is where the spirit of cricket will come into play. Unfortunately, Abhishek Porter was well behind the crease, and the wicket-keeper did not see him where, pushed him across.
Okay, so what happened there? The batter made his ground safely. As the throw was coming in, the the wicket-keeper realized that the ball might hit the stumps, and the wicketkeeper was worried about where the ball would ricochet, and also maybe the bails where they would ricochet. So the wicketkeeper stepped backwards and stepped on the batter, and the batter, not wanting to be stepped on because it's very painful when a spike steps on your foot, the batter moved out of his crease and the ball hit the stumps while the batter was out of his crease. So there was an appeal, out, run out, or not out. Please type your answer into the chat box. Q38 run out or Q38 not out. Law 39, stumped. We're going to watch another animation video to talk us through the theory of this law.
Stumped. All batsmen fear being stumped, and all wicket-keepers dream of stumping batsmen. So let's be clear about the law. The only player who can stump a batsman is this fellow, the wicket-keeper. A stumping can take place provided that the ball is not a no ball. You can be stumped off a wide, however. Here, for example, the batsman has moved out of his or her ground to play the ball, but has missed it and has not attempted a run. The wicket is fairly put down by the wicketkeeper without the intervention of another fielder. When all these conditions are met, the batsman will find that he or she has indeed been stumped. It's also okay for the ball to rebound onto the stumps off any part of the wicketkeeper, including his or her protective equipment or helmet. If it is a no ball, the batsman will not be out-stumped and is also protected from being run out as long as he or she is not attempting a run. Don't be stumped about stumping. Get a copy of the Blue Book and study Law 39.
That is all we're looking at in Law 39. The last law that I'm taking you through before handing over to Abdullah is Law 40, timed out. Only one slide to go through. After the fall of a wicket or the retirement of a batter, the incoming batter must, unless time has been called, be ready to receive the ball or for the other batter to receive the next ball within 3 minutes of the dismissal or retirement of the previous batter. If this requirement is not met, the incoming batter will be given out, timed out on appeal. You will all probably know that in different formats of the game, there are different time limits for the timed out law. So the playing conditions for Test match cricket and one-day internationals require the new batter to be ready to face the delivery in 2 minutes after the dismissal or retirement of a batter. The playing conditions for T20 cricket around the world require batter to be ready within 90 seconds of the dismissal or retirement of the previous batter. And if you have T10 cricket, that time limit is 75 seconds, at least for the T10 tournament that I umpired in a couple of years ago. The bowler does not get credit for a timed out dismissal. Abdullah, that is me for now. Thank you very much. I'm now handing over to you for Law 41.
Thank you so much, Thomas. Good evening to you, and good evening or good day to the rest of the attendees. Just give me a second while I see my slides. So Law 41 covers fair and unfair play, or mostly they focus on unfair play. So they're going to show us what they see as unfair, and then what is the punishment for that particular unfair play. So what I'm going to focus on is, so the slides, I've summarized the slides. So in the various subsections, I'm going to focus on a particular unfair play. So I'm going to identify what it is, and then I'm going to show you what the punishment for that particular unfair play is. Also, for the purposes of this course, we're focusing on the laws of cricket. So what I'm going to cover tonight is how the laws of cricket deal with the particular subsections under Law 41 in terms of unfair play. There are some playing conditions for competitions across the world that might slightly differ to how the law deal with a particular subsection under Law 41. But again, as I said, for the purpose of this course and in the exam and how you need to answer the question in the exam, you need to focus on the subsection under unfair play and how the law tell us how to deal with it. So firstly, when it comes to the responsibility of the captains, it's vital. Captains, they need to make sure that the game is played within the spirit as well as within the laws. Lots of players think it's the umpire's responsibilities. No, it is the captains. They are responsible to make sure that their players play the game in the spirit and within the laws. But when it comes to fair and unfair play, and this is where the law tells us, umpires, we are the sole judges of what is fair and unfair. Good umpiring practice is, please come together, discuss what you've seen, and decide whether you think it was fair or unfair. So the first subsection under Law 41 deals with the match ball and changing the condition of the match ball. Firstly, law tells us umpires, we have the power to make frequent and regular inspections of the ball. We don't need to ask anyone. If at any time we feel we want to have a look at the ball, absolutely no issue. The law gives us that power. Also, the law tells us it is an offense for any player to do anything that might change the condition of the ball. Anything. It's not always has to be sandpaper, bottle top, nails. Any action that might change the condition of the ball, the law sees that as an offense. So let's look at what a fielder is allowed to do with the ball. Firstly, fielder is allowed to polish the ball. And they can polish that ball on the clothing. And vital, no artificial substance to be used. No lip ice, no sunscreen, nothing. The only substance that can be used is sweat. Nothing else. Not even spit can be used. Back in the past, we could use spit, but since COVID, lawmakers has decided even spit not allowed to be used. So the only thing to be used is sweat. And you can use put the sweat on the ball, and you can then polish the ball on your clothing, and that polishing should waste no time. Secondly, if there's some mud on the ball, yes, you are allowed to remove the mud, but players need to do it under the supervision of the umpire. They need to come to the umpire and say, umpire, there's some mud on the ball. May I please remove it? So umpires look at you, and then you may remove the mud. Also, the law allows for, if the ball is wet, for a piece of cloth to be used to dry the ball. But those pieces of cloth needs to be approved by the umpires. Umpires needs to look at the cloth. If it's not too abrasive, and if it's okay, the wet ball can be dried. So these are the only three things that any fielder is allowed to do with the ball. So now, what happens if either of the umpires feel that the condition of the ball has been fairly changed? And umpires needs to be 100% sure that they feel the condition of the ball has been unfairly changed. Get together, both of you decide, yes, the condition of the ball has been unfairly changed. What is the action that we need to take? Firstly, we will go to the captain of the opposing side and ask the cappy, the condition of the ball has been unfairly changed by the other side. Would you like the ball to be changed? If the cappy says, yes, umpire, I would like the ball to be changed, umpires, you then need to select a ball that had similar wear and tear to that of the previous ball immediately prior to the condition being changed. More punishment for changing the condition of the ball. 5 penalty runs to the opposing side. And then please inform everyone, captains, batters, captains of the other side. Everyone needs to be informed, and you have to report this to the governing body of cricket for that particular competition. So this is the punishment if the condition of the ball has been unfairly changed. So what happens? In the same game, there's a further incident now of the side trying to change or changing the condition of the ball. What is the punishment now? So we've just dealt with if it happens the first time and this unfairly the side is trying to change the condition of the ball, we went through the punishment. So now again, there's been further incident of the field of the team trying to change the condition of the ball. Let's see what the punishment is now. Again, we'll go to the cappy and ask cappy, do you want the ball to be changed? And if yes, umpires again needs to select the replacement ball, and the criteria that they use is similar wear and tear to that of the previous ball. Again, 5 penalty runs to the opposing side. But now there's further punishment because this is now a second time. You didn't listen the first time, so now there's more punishment. We will now tell the captain, and let's say the fielding side tried to change the condition of the ball, please to suspend the bowler who delivered the preceding ball. This is now further punishment or an additional punishment because this is now the second time that the side has tried to change the condition of the ball. And again, we will inform everyone and we must report this to the governing body of cricket for that particular match. So now I've gone through what the unfair play was and what the punishment was. Next, it is unfair for any of the fielders to deliberately try to distract the striker before the ball was delivered. And we'll see now what the punishment is. So it's unfair. This is now, as the bowler's running in, before the ball was now delivered, so one of the fielders deliberately tried to distract the striker. So, what is the punishment? As soon as this deliberate distraction happens, you need to intervene by calling and signaling dead ball. 5 penalty runs to the batting side. And then you need to inform everyone of what happened, like batters, fielding captain, batting captain, and then must report this to the governing body of cricket for that particular competition. Next, this is now where there is a deliberate or willful distraction or deception or obstruction of either of the batters after the ball was delivered. So the difference between the previous one was the bowler's running in, basically the ball has not been delivered yet, and then there was distraction by the fielding side. This 0.5 now is the ball was now delivered. Now one of the fielding members of the fielding side, any one of them, now deliberately distract, deceive, or obstruct either of the batter. Importantly, this distraction or obstruction or deception needs to be willful. And it can be by word or action. Doesn't have to be by action like a bowler or fielder tripping one of the batters as they are running. It can be even by word. If there's a distraction is by word, absolutely no problem. You can apply this law. But importantly, it must be willful. And just practical tip, please, 2 umpires get together, discuss this. The 2 of you need to decide, was this action willful or not? And if yes, this is the punishment. Soon as it happens, you call and signal dead ball. Neither batter to be dismissed from this delivery. Any form of dismissal will not count. 5 penalty runs to the batting side. More punishment. This ball needs to be re-bowled. Doesn't count as one for the over. More punishment. Runs completed by the batters to count. If there were any penalty runs, like a no ball or wide, that also to count. And also the run in progress. And this is the only place in the law where it's irrelevant whether the batters crossed or not. So if they were busy, they completed one run and the bowler tripped the one of the batters on the second run, even if they just started the second run and they didn't cross, the law tells us that that second run will also count. So in total, for my example, the batting side will get 7 runs, 5 penalty runs, the one run that was completed at 6, and then also the second run that they were busy with. So 7 in total. And then batters at the wicket to decide who faces the next delivery. And then lastly, please inform everyone and report this to the governing body of cricket for that particular competition. So you can see for this unfair play, harsh punishment, good punishment for deliberately distracting, deceiving or obstructing either of the batter after the ball was delivered. So my first question for this evening. So first question, let's make it 41.1. So have a look at the video, and in your answer, question 41.1, you can put down you're going to give the strikeout stumped or not out. So have a look at the keeper and look at what the keeper does. I'll play the second time. Look at the keeper. So are you going to give the strikeout stumped or are you going to go not out? Next subsection under Law 41. The bowling of dangerous and unfair short pitch deliveries, bumpers or bounces. I call it bounces, but short pitch deliveries. Firstly, the law sees it as if the bowler bowls short pitch deliveries that are dangerous, and umpires, you need to take into account the skill of the batter or of the striker, the speed, the length, the height, and direction, and you feel that this ball is likely to inflict physical injury on the striker. If you see that, this is seen as dangerous as per the law. So as soon as you, the umpire, decides that this bowling of short pitch deliveries are dangerous, you need to intervene. And how do you intervene? By calling and signaling no ball. You also then need to tell the bowler, you are bowling dangerous balls to this number 11 batter. So I'm now giving you a first and final warning for bowling these dangerous short pitch deliveries. And this warning will apply throughout the innings. I will inform everyone, my colleague, batters, captain of the fielding side, needs to be informed of this first and final warning. Then what happens after giving the bowler a first and final warning for bowling these dangerous bounces? Then again, the same bowler in that same innings again bowl these bounces to the batter. What will I now do? Again, I will call and signal no ball for these dangerous bounces to the number 11. Remember, I've already given the bowler first and final. Now I will tell the captain of the fielding side, Cappy, you need to remove this bowler from the attack. You need to suspend this bowler immediately from bowling. I'll inform my colleague of my action. So this bowler has now been removed from the attack and shall not be allowed to bowl again in this particular innings. If it happens in the first innings, will not be allowed to bowl again in the first innings. If there's a second innings, yes, the bowler will start with a clean slate, so can bowl in the second innings. And then I need to inform everyone and then also report this incident to the governing body of cricket for that particular match. Next subsection under Law 41. This is now the bowling of dangerous and unfair non-pitching deliveries. This is now full tosses or beamers. So how will we handle if the bowler bowls a non-pitch delivery to the striker, a beamer or full toss? Firstly, the law tells us any delivery, if bowled by the bowler and this delivery passes or would have passed on the full above waist height of the striker standing upright at the popping crease, the law sees this is unfair. We'll see now what we need to do or what interventions the umpire needs to make, but the law sees this is unfair. So the law does not want the bowler to bowl a full toss to the striker, and this ball on the full goes above waist height of the striker, and importantly, your judgment point is the striker standing upright at the popping crease. That's where you need to make your judgment call. So you need to ask yourself, if the ball is on the full, is the striker standing upright at the popping crease? If yes, is the ball above waist height? Yes, that would be, and we'll see now, you need to call and signal no ball. So I just want to emphasize your judgment point is striker standing upright at the popping crease. That's where you need to judge. Would the ball have been above waist height? Yes, you call and signal no ball. No, I don't think the ball would have been above waist height. If the striker was standing upright at the popping crease, then it's a fair delivery and the law sees that as not unfair. So if the striker is standing upright at the popping crease, it is easier to judge, but there are times where the striker might be double stepping to get to the pitch of the ball. And now the striker is, let's say, 2 or 2.5 meters, down the pitch. And now the ball gets on the full on the striker. So now where do we judge? We apply the law. The law tells us, don't judge where the striker is. If the striker is, let's say, 2 meters down the wicket, don't judge where the striker is at that point. Your judgment call needs to be, if that striker was standing upright at the popping crease, would it have been above waist height? And if yes, you need to call and signal no ball. And if no, it's then not unfair, it's then a fair delivery. Also, what the umpire needs to consider is that delivery dangerous and is there a risk of injury to the striker? And if your answer to that question is yes, the ball was dangerous, there was a risk of injury to the striker, you now need to caution the bowler. And you need to tell the bowler, this is your first and final warning for bowling a ball on the full above waist height at the striker. And in my opinion, it was dangerous and would have caused injury to the striker. So I'm giving you a first and final warning. I'll inform my colleague. I need to inform the captain of the fielding side, and I'll inform the batters. And this caution to apply throughout this particular innings. So now what happens? Later on, in the same innings, the same bowler again bowls a ball on the full above waist height of the striker standing upright at the popping crease. So what do? Again, the law sees this is unfair, so you need to call and signal no ball. But now remember, and take into account, this is now the same bowler we've given that bowler earlier a first and final warning. So this is now a second instance later in that same innings of ball on the full above waist height. So now, yes, we call and signal no ball. But now we need to tell the fielding captain, Cappy, you now need to remove this bowler immediately from the attack. And unfortunately, this bowler is now suspended and not allowed to bowl again in this particular innings. If, let's say, it happened mid-over and there's still balls to be bowled in the over then needs to be completed by another bowler, and this bowler should not have bowled the previous over, nor is this bowler that is finishing the over allowed to bowl the next over. And then you need to then inform everyone and then also report this to the governing body. So now let's call this one course question 41.7. So have a look at the footage and tell me, is this bowler out bowled or are you calling and signaling no ball? So course question 41.7, out bowled or a no ball? So just wait for the replay. We're going to get a side on the replay now. So I'll play it again. So there you can see the ball goes against the wickets. Now the question is the batter out bowled or is this a no ball? Have a look. And I've just covered the criteria that you need to take into account when judging those full tosses. So next bit of unfair play under Law 41. How do we deal with if a bowler deliberately bowls a front foot no ball? So firstly, if you, the umpire, feels that the bowler has deliberately bowled a front foot no ball, you need to do the following. Call and signal no ball as the first action that you take. Secondly, when the ball is dead, call the captain of the fielding side and tell the captain, Captain, please remove this bowler from the attack. This bowler deliberately bowled a front foot no ball. You will inform your colleague of what just happened, and this bowler allowed to bowl again in this innings. If let's say it happened in the first innings, cannot bowl again in the first innings. And then if it happened mid-over, there were still balls left in the over need to be completed by another bowler who didn't bowl the previous over, nor is allowed to bowl the next over. And then you inform everyone of what has happened, and then you need to report this to the governing body. So you can see the law sees this as quite a serious offence because we go straight to action. There's no warnings here. We go straight to action. Call no ball, suspend the bowler immediately, inform everyone and report. But this is if you consider the bowler bowling a deliberate front foot no ball. Next subsection. What happens if there is time wasting by the fielding side? Firstly, the law sees it as unfair for any fielder to waste time. So as you, the umpires, you need to make this call. And if you consider that the fielding side, they're busy with an over and this over is taking forever, it is unnecessary slow, or time is being wasted in any other way, it's your judgment call. You need to make that call. All the law tells us is if you think the fielding side is wasting time, you need to do the following. And it can be any of the 11 fielders. So if it happens the first time, if the ball is still in play, you'll call and signal dead ball. You'll inform your colleague of what just happened? That the fielding side is wasting time. You will then warn the captain of the fielding side, Cappy, your side is wasting time. And this is your first and final warning to the team, and it's a team warning for wasting time. You'll inform the batters of what just happened. So this is now the first time. Fielding side is wasting time, so you go first and final warning. So after giving the side a first and final warning, they didn't listen, and later in the innings, or a few overs later, there's now a further instance of any fielder wasting time. Doesn't have to be a particular fielder, doesn't have to be the captain, any of the 11 fielders. They waste time, and in my second example, this is now a second instance of the fielding side wasting time. We just saw the punishment. What happens if it's the first instance? We give a first and final warning. So now it happened again. What is the punishment now? Call dead ball if a ball is in play. You inform your colleague of what just happened. And then, if there was time wasting and it happened during the over, the punishment is 5 penalty runs to the batting side. So there's two parts to this. If it happened during the over, there's a certain punishment. If it does not happen during the over, there's another punishment. But we'll get to that in the next bullet point. So the first part is, if the time wasting happens during the over, the punishment is 5 penalty runs. And you'll inform everyone of this. If the wasting of time was if the wasting of time was not during the over, it's 5 penalty runs. So let's say the first ball wasn't bowled and they purposefully wasting time. They're setting out the field, they're chatting to each other. You can see that this fielding side is deliberately wasting time. And the over hasn't started yet. So the punishment now is, if you see that they're wasting time, you intervene and you give 5 penalty runs to the batting side. And you'll inform everyone. But if the over has started and now they're wasting time during the over, any form of time wasting, the punishment here is you'll call the fielding captain and you'll tell the captain, the bowler that's busy with this over, we are removing this bowler from the attack. So this bowler is suspended and this bowler will not be allowed to bowl again in this innings. So just to summarize, two forms of punishment for time wasting. This is now a second time after giving them a first and final warning. If it happened again, so if the time wasting is during an over, not during an over, 5 penalty runs to the batting side. If the time wasting is during the over, we suspend the bowler that's busy with the over. And then we inform everyone and then report this to the governing body of cricket for that particular competition. So we've discovered what happens if the fielding side wastes time. So what happens if a batter wastes time? Either of the batters, any batter. So firstly, the law tells us, this as for the fielding side, it is also unfair for any of the batters to waste time. So usually, the striker needs to be ready to face the ball when the bowler is on top of his or her run-up. That's usually 9 out of 10 times striker. Law wants the striker to be ready. Also, the law tells us that if either of the batters or any batter waste time and they're not ready when the bowler is on top of his or her mark, or they waste time in any other way, tying their shoelaces every minute. Any other way, it's your call. If you feel that the actions that the batters are doing are wasting time, let's see how we need to deal with it. Firstly, if it happens the first time, we'll warn the batters and we'll tell the batters, This is your first and final warning for time wasting. So we'll speak to both batters because this is now a team warning to the batting side. It's not a warning to a particular batter. It's a team warning, so we speak to both batters. And then also, if soon as a batter is dismissed and another batter comes in, we will inform that batter, your team is on a first and final warning for time wasting. We're just letting you know. Yes, I know you knew. I know you didn't waste time earlier, but batters wasting time is a team warning. So we're informing you as well. And this warning to apply throughout the innings, and we will inform everyone. So first up, any of the batters waste time, will go first and final. So now after giving the batting side the first and final warning for time wasting, now in that same innings or late in the innings, again there's more time wasting. So how do we deal with it now? So now we will give 5 penalty runs to the fielding side. So this is now the punishment. The first is your first and final warning. If it happens again later in the same innings, now we'll give 5 penalty runs to the fielding side, and we will inform everyone, and we must report this to the governing body of cricket for that particular competition. Next, damaging the pitch. Let's first look at the animation video.
Damaging the pitch. Deliberately damaging the pitch is illegal and can be costly to the guilty player's side. A bowler will be deemed to be causing deliberate damage if the umpire considers that his or her presence on the protected area of the pitch, shown here in red, is without reasonable cause. This can be after delivering the ball, or, if the bowler fails to release the ball, after the completion of the delivery swing and delivery stride. The first offence will receive a caution, the second a final warning, and if the bowler does it again, he or she will be suspended from bowling for the rest of the innings and may well face disciplinary action after the match. For fielders and batsmen, it is the whole pitch that they must not damage, not just the protected area. If any fielder causes deliberate damage to the pitch, he or she will face a similar caution and be reported to the captain. If there is a repeat offence by any fielder during that innings, 5 runs are awarded to the batting side. Finally, if either batsman causes deliberate damage to the pitch, the batsman will be given a first and final warning and told this practice is unfair. This warning will apply through the innings and each incoming batsman will be warned. Should this happen again, the umpire will disallow all runs from that delivery, other than the penalty for a no ball or wide. Furthermore, the umpire will award 5 penalty runs to the fielding side, return the batsmen to their original ends, inform both captains, and the offending player may well face disciplinary action after the match. If you're in any doubt, refer to Law 41 in the Blue Book.
Okay, so I'm going to summarize what the narrator of the video just covered. So we're going to focus on what happens if the fielders damage the pitch, and what the punishment are. Then we're going to look at batters damaging the pitch. Then we're going to look at bowlers running in the protected area. And then what happens if the striker goes into the protected area. So let's first have a look at the protected area and have a look at the theory. In the next slide, I'm going to show you a pic that will illustrate where this protected area is. So the red shaded area, this is seen as the protected area, and a big part of our job, especially when it comes to especially the bowlers and the strikers, we need to protect this area. So it's 5 feet from the popping crease, or 1.52 meters this side and on the other side, and from the middle stump to 30.48 centimeters this side, 30.48 centimeters this side. And if you draw these dotted lines and parallel and these lines, this red shaded area, that is the protected area, and we need to protect it. So let's first focus on fielders damaging the pitch. And this subsection covers the whole pitch and not just the protected area, the whole pitch. So the law sees it as unfair for any of the 11 fielders to cause deliberate or avoidable damage to the pitch. Fielders does not have to be on the pitch. If there is a cricketing reason, or if there's a reasonable cause for them to be on the pitch, like to go field the ball, absolutely no issue. But if there's no reasonable cause for the fielder to be on the pitch, fielders should not be there. And if a fielder causes deliberate damage to the pitch, let's have a look at what the punishment is. If it happens the first time, you'll call the captain of the fielding side. Doesn't matter which fielder does it. We'll speak to the captain of the fielding side. And we'll tell the captain, this is the first and final warning, and it's a team warning, and this shall apply throughout the innings. Yes, we saw one of your fielders deliberately causing damage to the pitch. So I'm now informing you that this is the first and final warning, and it's to your team. I'll inform the batters of what just happened. I'll inform my colleague as well. And then later in the innings, again, one of the fielders, doesn't have to be the same one, can be anyone, caused deliberate damage to the pitch. What do I then need to do? As soon as the ball is dead, I'll inform my colleague of what just happened, what I saw. Now I need to give 5 penalty runs to the batting side. And I need to inform everyone and report this to the governing body. So first we'll go first and final, and then after that, penalty runs to the batting side. Next, we're going to focus on bowler, and what happens if the bowler runs into the protected area. So we saw the red shaded area in 2 slides ago. Bowler is not allowed, while delivering the ball in his or her follow through, to go into that protected area. So the law sees it as unfair for the bowler to go into that red shaded area, i.e. the protected area, in their follow through, unless there is a reasonable cause. Example, let's say the striker hits the ball straight down the pitch, and the bowler now dives to save the ball, let's say, from going to the boundary. Absolutely no issue with that, because the bowler is trying to save runs, save the boundary. Now the bowler dived, and while diving, then dived into the protected area. No issue, because there was a reason why the bowler went in the protected area. But if there's no reason, and whether the ball is delivered or not, the bowler goes into the protected area, the law sees that as unfair. And we need to do the following. If it happens the first time, we need to tell the bowler, this is a caution for you running into the protected area. I need to inform my colleague that I've given the bowler a caution, and this caution to apply throughout this inning. Let's say it happened in the first innings, it will apply throughout the innings. I also need to inform the captain of the fielding side that I've given the bowler a caution for running in the protected area, and then also the batters needs to be informed. So firstly, the first time it happens, caution to the bowler. So now it happens again in the same innings. This same bowler again runs into the protected area. Now we need to tell the bowler, this is now your final warning. And this warning to apply throughout this particular innings. I'll also inform the fielding captain, and I've given the bowler now his final warning for running into protected area. So I've given first, I start off with a caution for running in. Then secondly, I go final warning now. So now what happens if this bowler for a third time runs into the protected area in this particular innings? Now the punishment is we call the fielding captain over and we tell the fielding captain to suspend the bowler immediately. This bowler needs to be removed or taken out of the attack, and the over needs to be completed by another bowler, and this bowler should not have bowled the previous over, nor is this bowler allowed to bowl the new over. And then I inform everyone of what has happened, and I need to report this to the governing body of cricket for that particular competition. So now next we're going to handle, we've covered what happens if fielders damage the pitch. Now we're going to have a look at what happens if the batters damage the pitch. The law also sees it as unfair if either of the batters cause deliberate or avoidable damage to the pitch. If the striker plays after playing the ball and goes into the protected area, and no issue. But as soon as the striker's played the ball, that striker needs to get off the pitch immediately and then can run. So yes, the law allows, let's say, spinners bowling and the striker double steps to get to the pitch of the ball. The law allows for that. But as soon as that shot is played, the striker needs to get off the pitch. So now let's have a look at what happens if you, the umpire, feels that a batter, either of the batters, caused avoidable damage to the pitch. So if it happens the first time, so as soon as the ball is dead, you'll call your colleague and you'll inform your colleague what you saw. You then need to warn both batters that you've caused avoidable damage to the pitch. It was willful, and this is now your first and final warning. This is a team warning, so I'm letting the two of you know. And if one should be a batter should be dismissed and a new one comes in, we will inform each incoming batter, each new batter, that batter, your team is on a first and final warning for damaging the pitch. We'll inform the fielding captain of what just happened, and as soon as practicable, let the batting captain know as well. So now, in that same innings, later on, any of the batters, doesn't have to be that same batter that caused it the first time. Let's say it was the opening batter the first time. And later on in the same innings, it's now, let's say, the number 8 batter. Now that number 8 batter caused avoidable damage to the pitch. What do you now need to do? Let's have a look at the punishment. We need to disallow all runs to the batting side. Even if they ran 4, 5, 6, whatever, we need to disallow those runs. We need to send the batters back to their original ends. If there was a no ball or wide, that to apply. More punishment. 5 penalty runs to the fielding side. Also, award any other 5 run penalties that may be applicable. There's one exception. If the ball should hit the protective helmet that was placed behind the keeper, if the ball should hit it, we will not apply those penalty runs. And then we need to inform everyone and report this to the governing body. So this is the punishment if a batter, any of the batters, damage the pitch for a second time in the same innings. The penultimate subsection under Law 41 that I'm covering. What happens if the striker goes into the protected area? I spoke earlier about the bowler, and we saw the punishment that we need to give the bowler for going into the protected area. So just as the bowler is not allowed to go into the protected area, similarly, the striker is also not allowed to go into the protected area. So the striker shall not stand in the protected area or stand so close to the protected area that because the striker is so close, and if the striker should play a shot, let's say forward defensive shot, that front foot will go into the protected area in every time. That is not allowed. Law also tell us striker can make a mark on the pitch when they take guard, like middle or leg or two leg, whatever the case may be. But this mark not to be so close or unreasonably close to the protected area. So if the striker contravenes the 2 points above, so before I get to what we're going to do the first time, so again, I'm going to go to the next page just to show you again the protected area. So striker, so here's the popping crease. Striker can, where my cursor is hovering, striker can stand deep in the crease to face the ball, no issue. Striker can stand 1 foot in the on this side of the popping crease, the other foot this side. The strikers can stand just outside the popping crease, no issue. But in your opinion, as soon as the striker comes close to the protected area, or even want to stand here in the protected area, the law does not allow that. So even if the striker stands close to the protected area, very close, so as soon as the striker, because the striker is so close, and if he or she plays forward, that front foot will go in there, the law doesn't allow for that. So let's have a look at what happens if the striker do go into the protected area, stands so close and goes in there. Firstly, you go, striker, first and final warning for going into the protected area. This is a team warning and a warning to apply throughout the innings. As soon as a batter is dismissed, the new batters coming in, we must inform each incoming batter that we've given a team warning for striker going into the protected area. We'll inform the captain of the fielding side and, when possible, captain of the batting side. So we'll first go first and final. What happens in the same innings? Any of the batters again goes into the protected area. Let's have a look at the punishment. Firstly, from that ball, we'll disallow all runs to the batting side. We will send the batters back to their original ends. If there was a no ball or a wide, it will count. 5 penalty runs to the fielding side. And then we'll award any other 5 penalty runs. There's one exception, and that exception is we will not allow the penalty runs if the ball should hit the helmet that was placed behind the keeper by the fielding side. And lastly, we will need to inform everyone and then also report this to the governing body of cricket for this particular competition. And then, Tom, the last subsection under Law 41 that I'm covering. What happens if the batters decides to steal a run while the bowler is busy with his run-up? The law sees that as unfair. While the bowler is running in to deliver the ball, the batters cannot now decide we want to steal a single. That is unfair. So what is the action that the umpires needs to take? If they do decide to take a single while the bowler is busy running, as soon as the batters crossed, you need to intervene as the umpire and you need to call and signal dead ball. You send the batters back to their original ends, and 5 penalty runs to the fielding side for batters trying to steal a run while the bowler is delivering the ball. And then lastly, you need to inform everyone and then report this to the governing body of cricket for this particular competition. Thomas, thank you so much. That's all I'm covering under Law 41. I'm taking a single and hand back the strike to you.
Thanks, Tula. I'm going to now take the candidates through the answers to the quiz questions which we have posed while we were presenting. So I'm going to share my screen and start with quiz question 34.
Oh, that's a good ball there. It's directed at the batsman again. And once more, we just see Takor charging halfway down the pitch without even looking at his strike partner. Take another look at this. Is this for the double hit? Yeah, that's exactly what it's for. He just hit it twice. Yeah, that's incredibly unprofessional there by Mughal.
So let's watch it together. What you might notice is that the first swing of the delivery, the batter misses the ball and it hits his person. And then he decides he's going to pass the ball back to the bowler by hitting it. So has he actually hit the ball twice? So the law tells us that it does count as a second hit if the ball has firstly hit the person of the striker in the first attempt to hit the ball, and then he goes and subsequently hits it again. So even though technically the ball hit him and then he hits the bat, he hits the ball with the bat, it is a second strike and it is not authorized. We learned earlier that batters need permission from the fielding side to return the ball to the bowler or any other member of the fielding side. So this can be out hit wicket. This can be out hit the ball twice, or it can be out obstructing the field. Whichever way you decide, you just need to communicate with the scorers so that they can correctly write that in the scorebook. And it is indeed out. Definitely no defense for the striker in this case. Okay, so quiz question 34, correct answer, out. I think you've all got that correct. Well done. Quiz question 36 is a leg before wicket decision. I'm going to play it through, and then I will read you the relevant law at the end.
Fair delivery. 10 seconds.
Review for LBW. Given out on field. Review for LBW.
Copy that. Clear review. Given out on field. There's a player review for LBW. Given out on field. I've checked the feet. It's a fair delivery. I'm looking at front on split screen all the way through. Keep going all the way through, all the way through. Ball pass is very close to the gloves. I'm going to need ultra edge to confirm if there's any gloves involved, please. Ultra edge coming up. Flat line at this point. Keep going all the way through. Passing first gloves, flat line, flat line, flat line. Yes, to my left, I'm seeing a clear gap between the ball and the gloves. Satisfied, no gloves involved. Move to ball tracking when ready, please.
So this is where it gets interesting. With the ball tracking, we can see that Phoebe Litchfield, the striker, attempts to play a reverse sweep or a switch hit. So has this ball pitched outside the leg stump of the left-handed Phoebe Litchfield, or has it pitched outside the off stump of the now right-handed Phoebe Litchfield when she attempts to play a switch hit. So let's refer to law 36.3, the offside of the wicket. Remember, the ball is allowed to pitch outside the off stump for us to consider an LBW decision, but it is not allowed to pitch outside the leg stump. So law 36.3 says the offside of the striker's wicket shall be determined by the striker's batting position at the moment the ball comes into play for that delivery. When the ball came into play, B.B. Litchfield was a left-hander, is a left-hander for the remainder of this delivery. So the delivery, as we can see, clearly pitches outside the leg stump of the left-handed B.B. Litchfield, so should not be given out leg before wicket. Correct answer for quiz question 36 is not out. LBW, not out. Quiz question 37.1. Is this out or is this not out?
Oh, there's bat into helmet. Butler. Oh, Wood. Oh. Well.
Top edge on the lid.
So, Junior, are you saying that the an umpire, third umpire... Oh. So, the third umpire can possibly make a ruling without an appeal? Gee, that's a good question. Not looking like he's focusing totally on just getting back there, does it? I can't say I know what Matt Wade was thinking, but when that arm went out there...
I think originally he was a bit disorientated, wasn't sure where the ball was. He was playing a bit of AFL.
Interestingly enough, in that scenario, there was no appeal from England, or the appeal was withdrawn. That is why Matthew Wade was not given out. However, it is quite clear to everyone that Matthew Wade willfully obstructed the bowler from getting to the ball and claiming a return catch. So upon appeal, Matthew Wade would and should have been given out, obstructing the field. Question 37.1. I think all of you got this one right. Out. Question 37.2, very interesting one. Let's have a look at the video and I'll talk you through it.
Oh! Now then, it looked like the ball had gone straight up to the bowler.
He didn't change direction and have gone upstairs.
Curtly Ambrose says the non-striker did not change direction. But if you have a look at where he started running, he was about a meter outside of the pitch. And he lands up right on the edge of the pitch to deliberately prevent the bowler from taking the catch. Law tells us that if an obstruction prevents a catch from being taken and the delivery is not a no ball, then it is not the non-striker who will be out, even though it is the non-striker who created the obstruction. It will be the striker who will be out, obstructing the field. So correct answer to quiz question 37.2 is C. The striker is out, obstructing the field. If this was a no ball, then the non-striker would have been out, obstructing the field. But as I mentioned, as the video was being played for the first time, this was a fair delivery. It was not a no ball. Therefore, the correct answer is C. Striker is out, obstructing the field.
Again, there he is walking down the pitch.
Lack of pace off the pitch. has made sure it's quite possible. The on-field umpires has gone upstairs to check
TV
a
umpire
run out.
director, we have a referral for run out.
Utkarsh Pipes, our umpire partners.
Give me the best side on, please.
Well, there seems to be a bit of conversation going on between.
I can find no part of the bat or person of the batter behind the line. When the wicket is put down, I'm ready with my decision for the big screen.
This is where the spirit of cricket will come into play. Unfortunately, Abhishek Porter was well behind the crease, and the wicket-keeper did not see him where, pushed him across.
Quiz question 38. Law tells us that a batter is not out, run out, if he or she has been within his or her ground and has subsequently left it to avoid injury when the wicket is fairly broken. Quite clearly, that was the scenario in this case. The batter was comfortably in his ground, and then the wicket keeper was walking backwards, not knowing where the batter was. The batter, seeing that the wicket keeper was going to trod on his foot, decided he would leave his crease, and that's when the ball hit the stumps. Law protects this batter in this scenario. So the correct answer to quiz question 38 is not out. I think most of you got all that question correct. Quiz question 41.1. We have a very cheeky wicketkeeper. Bowler bowls the ball down leg. Wicketkeeper collects it, turns around pretending that he did not catch the ball. He's pretending that he's watching or looking for where the ball has gone. As soon as he hears the striker running out of the crease, then he stumps the striker. Is this out stumped or is this not out? Law 41.5, I think it is, speaks about deliberate deception of a batter. If a member of the fielding side deliberately deceives a batter, that batter will not be out. None of the batters can be out off that delivery. The ball, either umpires will call and signal dead ball and award 5 penalty runs to the batting side. The run in progress will also count towards the batting side. So even though the non-striker wasn't running, the fact that the striker took off for a run, that is a run in progress. So that 1 run will count. The batters at the crease can decide who faces the next delivery. And of course, this matter will be reported to the governing body in charge of the match. So a very serious offense. What looked like a clever piece of wicket keeping should actually end himself up in quite a bit of trouble, and definitely not out. Correct answer to question 41.1, not out. Quiz question 41.7, pretty straightforward. You will see from the side-on angle that this delivery with the striker standing upright at the crease is above waist height. The on-field umpires in televised matches are told not to call the tight ones so that it can be checked if there is a wicket that falls, because if a no ball is incorrectly called and a batter is caught, they cannot reverse that incorrect no ball call. Whereas if a no ball is not called and a batter is out, they can then review as they did in this scenario and then call the no ball via the TV umpire. So correct answer to quiz question 41.7, no ball. And there should be a first and final warning for Lungisani Ngidi for a no ball above waist height directed at the striker. A full toss above waist height directed at the striker results in a first and final warning for the bowler. Well done to all of you who got all the answers right, and thank you to all of you who participated in giving answers. Right, so let's go into the chat box to check all of the questions and comments that were posted while we were presenting. Going right to the top. First question is from Tertius Geldenes. I have submitted my WPCUA membership application on the 7th of April, together with a copy of my level 1 umpiring certificate. I stay in Cape Town and currently not a member of any association in South Africa. I have not yet had any feedback from Western Province Cricket Umpires Association regarding my membership application. How would I be required to complete the level 2 exam at Newlands or online? So Tertius, the Executive Committee of Western Province Cricket Umpires Association meets on the first Tuesday of every month. So you sent through your application on the first Tuesday of April, probably just after our meeting or during our meeting. So we did not review your application. We will review your application along with all the other applications which have come in throughout April on the 5th of May at our executive committee meeting. So that will be after the Cricket South Africa Level 2 umpiring exam. As you've mentioned, the dates for the exams are the 2nd of May or the 4th of May. Everyone is free to choose one of those dates as their exam date option. So on the 2nd of May and the 4th of May, you will still not be a WPCUA member. So that means, Tertius, you will write the exam online with everybody else writing online. Okay. Kevin Barnes asks, hi, Tom or Abdullah. I might not be able to join the lecture tomorrow, so I pose this question now. If you live in Cape Town but are not a member of WPCUA, do you have to do the exam at Newlands or can you do it online? So, Kevin, only WPCUA members will write the Cricket South Africa Level 2 exam at Newlands. So everybody who is not a Western Province Cricket Umpires Association member will write the Cricket South Africa Level 2 exam with us online. Please remember, if you are a member of any other Umpires Association in South Africa, you will need to write your exam at your home association. So if you're a member of Boland Cricket Umpires Association, you will not write with us, not online, not at Newlands. You will write at Boland Park in Paarl or any other venue arranged by Boland Cricket Umpires Association. And the dates as well do not have to be the 2nd or the 4th of May. They will be arranged and agreed with your Umpires Association wherever you are in the country. The 2nd and the 4th of May are specifically Western Province Cricket Umpires Association exam dates for Cricket South Africa's Level 2 exam. Trusha Baga asks, where can I buy the new Laws of Cricket Handbook, the 4th edition, which is 2026, and those laws are going to be effective 1st of October 2026. Trusha, we at Cricket South Africa do not buy law books. I know I've found online that Cricket Australia sells law books online. So maybe you can Google the Laws of Cricket Handbook, and under for sale or buy, maybe their link will come up. I'm not sure if they've got the 2026 edition available already. In South Africa, we get our law books from Cricket South Africa, and they are delivered to every Umpires Association based on the numbers of members in the association. So at Western Province Cricket Umpires Association, we have this past season that ended 31 March 2026. We had 108 active members. So they're going to send through 120 law books so that if we do recruit more new members in the winter, we will have some law books to give to our current members plus our new members. They are not for sale in South Africa. I do have a PDF of the new laws. Trusha, if you want me to send you that PDF, please drop me an email or a WhatsApp and I will send it to you, a PDF of the 2026 laws. We will, for our level 1, starting in July or August, we will be presenting the new laws or the updated laws, the 2026 edition, and then obviously we will distribute the 2026 edition to all the course candidates for the level 1 starting in July or August. Okay, moving through the chat box. I see most of you got that quiz question 34 correct. Trusha has posted a link of 2 websites that she's come across that could assist with umpiring exams and careers. An LBW quiz website, as well as a cricketumpiring.com. I must say I've never come across cricketumpiring.com, so I'll be having a look at that website. Thank you very much for posting that, Trusha. Okay, scrolling down through the chat box. A bit of confusion about the leg side and the offside on the Phoebe Litchfield LBW appeal. Most of you got 37.1 correct. The obstructing the field of Matthew Wade, 37.2. Striker out obstructing the field. Well done. Just one of you said the non-striker is out obstructing the field. Okay. Abdullah. Dieter Daniels wants to know, how do you judge if the batter wanted to take a run or not? Does a double step constitute an attempt at a run? And maybe you can take us back to Quinton de Kock. You had a nice quiz question, I think 2 lectures ago when I wasn't around. Does a double step constitute a attempt at a run?
So Dieter, it's a judgment call that you need to make. So you need to look at what's in front of you. And if you see that the intent of the batter was trying to get to the pitch of the ball to hit the ball, like batters will do for spinners, they don't want the ball to spin, so they'll double step to get to the pitch to try to hit the ball on the full or on the half volley, because it makes it easier to hit, because they then negating the spin. So if that is the case, batter trying to get to the pitch of the ball, then that is just a double step. They're not trying to run. But if what you're seeing in front of you and you see the intent was to take a single and the batter was trying to get to the other end, then that is seen as trying to take a run. So that's, theory. Tom made the example of the Quinton de Kock video. Tom, can you quickly go and go to that Quinton de Kock video?
Sure.
Because that's, I showed it the last week, but just to emphasize again that if you look at Quinny and what Quinny was trying to do, Quinny was trying to take a single. Look at that. He took like a step and a half, but that intent was there to take a single, to get to the other side. So my opinion and looking at the situation, Quinny tried to run, tried to take a single, and that's why I would have Quinny run out if I was the TV umpire.
Checking back foot, stand by. Bring it up for me. Take it from before he lands. Right, bring it down now. Bring it down. I've got a no ball on the back foot, a no ball. You're on screen, yeah. Thanks.
Also, in my eyes, Abdullah, definitely an attempt to run. Quinton de Kock misses the ball. He double stepped. He actually didn't double step. He tried to play a heave across the line, or let's call it a what's that shot called that Tansi Crinier loved to play?
Slog sweep.
Slog sweep, correct, yes. He missed it. And then you can actually hear he speaks to his partner and he says, I thought I hit it. So he thought he hit it, and that's why he started to run. There's a little step. There's a little step there. And then he realizes, oh, hello, I missed it. And if there was an appeal, definitely should have been given out, run out. Not out stumped because it was a no ball, but out run out because there was an attempt to run. But of course, Abdullah, as you mentioned, it is a judgment call that the strikers and umpire would have had to make in that scenario. Great. Next question is from Zini. He says he reached out to his association in Davidton. I think that is Eastern's Cricket Umpires Association. They told me that the season for now is closed and will only open in August or September. Zimi wants to know, do I advise that he carries on with the level 2 umpiring or wait until the season opens and do it then? So Zimi, it all depends if you are a member of Eastern's Cricket Umpires Association or not. If you are a member of Eastern's Umpires Cricket Association or Cricket Umpires Association, you cannot write the Cricket South Africa Level 2 exam with us. You need to speak to your head of training or anyone in the executive committee of Eastern's Cricket Umpires Association. Ask them when they're going to have a level 2 course and when their exam will be. And then you can write when they schedule a Cricket South Africa level 2 exam. If you are not a member of Eastern's Cricket Umpires Association yet, then you are welcome to write with us. Okay, we find that the winter is actually the perfect time to get through your levels because during the season, you're busy, you're umpiring, you might not have as much time on your hands to do level 2 and level 3. So I would advise if you are able to do your levels in the winter, go for it. Okay, moving further along in the chat box. Most of you said quiz question 38 is not out. Well done. That was the run out of the batter who had left his ground to avoid injury. Quiz question from Shaheen LaRue. A timeout question. What happens if the batter took too long to face the delivery, and when he is ready and the captain asks, Mr. Ump, is that time the batter took to get ready too long? Abdullah, are we going to, as umpires, receive that as an appeal, or are we just going to answer the question? So the captain of the fielding side has asked the bowler's end umpire, umps, did the batter take too long to get to the crease? Do we constitute that as an appeal, or do we just answer the question? Yes or no?
So Tom, I'll confirm whether he is appealing. And I'll ask him, are you appealing? And if he or she says yes, I then need to make that call whether the incoming batter was ready to face the next delivery, and it was within 3 minutes as per the law. And if yes, it was within 3 minutes, then not out. And if it was not within 3 minutes, then because there's been an appeal and the incoming batter was not ready, technically as per the law, you can give the incoming batter out, timed out. We go now strict according to law. This is, yeah, it can cause lots of chaos, but yeah, I'm answering as just strictly as per the law. Over, Tom.
Thanks, Tula. I remember I did have an incident many years ago where a team was sharing kit, and because when one batter went off, they would need to take their pads off and give them to the next batter. The new batter came in after 3 minutes. When there was an appeal, I asked the new batter why he had taken so long, and he did tell me, and I could see it, that they were changing pads. So I explained that to the fielding side as the reason why I would not be giving the new batter out, timed out. For me, that was a wholly acceptable reason for the batter being late to the crease. Ritwik asks, slightly off topic, Abdullah, what is your favorite cricket stadium in South Africa and outside of South Africa? So I'll answer first, Abdullah. Over the years, being brought up as an umpire in Cape Town, Newlands has always been my favorite ground to umpire. But umpiring in the SA20 at St. George's Park in Gqeberha, formerly known as Port Elizabeth, with the band. That atmosphere is absolutely electric, unmatchable. So St. George's Park has got my vote as my favorite cricket stadium in South Africa. And outside of South Africa, it's got to be Lord's Cricket Ground. I went there to watch the World Test Championship final where South Africa beat Australia in June last year. Just the home of cricket, the history, the aura, the vibe, special. Even the slope looks amazing in real life. Dula, your favorite stadiums?
So, likewise, Tom, growing up in Cape Town, you know, our first love was always Newlands, so always special place in my heart. Being part of the SA20, and yes, I agree with you. St. George's Park is absolutely unique with the band, with the music playing, the crowd, small ground. Atmosphere is absolutely amazing. But I was 2 years ago. It was a packed bull ring, and the Joburg Super Kings were chasing, I think, 220, and Faf was batting, and they chased the score down. So packed bull ring, that atmosphere was absolutely, yeah, amazing. So I'm gonna go just popping St. George's Park. I would go Wanderers, Tom.
Lovely. Outside of South Africa, Dula, have you attended any matches outside of South Africa?
Yeah, my only games that I've attended was America. So we went to the World Cup, and yes, those were not the traditional stadiums that we used to here in South Africa, but they were still unique. And the game, was it in Dallas where Nepal was playing? That to me, and that atmosphere, and clapping for every single run, every single wide, every single ball. The Nepalese were clapping. That was absolutely amazing, and I enjoyed that atmosphere every second of it. So yeah, outside South Africa, that particular stadium, and I can't remember what was it. It was in Dallas.
Yeah, it was in Dallas, and I remember that it's a baseball field traditionally, but for the World Cup, it was transformed into a cricket stadium.
I remember the name, but that Nepal game, yeah, that game.
If Abir is in the crowd, in the candidates, he can type the stadium's name into the chat box, please, because he was with us on that day. Greetings to anyone from Dallas who is joining us today. NK, I think that's Neville Kunjravia. For timed out, it states the batter has to be ready to face the ball within 3 minutes. Does the fielding team have to be in their positions for the appeal to be valid? Or can they be in a huddle and then just decide to appeal because the batter is not ready, and maybe they've got their own stopwatch and were trying to fool the batters into believing that there was still time for them to be ready? Abdullah, does the fielding team need to be in position to appeal for a timed out?
Not at all, Tom. The law clearly states batter needs to be ready. And if not, a batter needs to be ready within 3 minutes. And if not, on appeal can be given out. If we look at the Angelo Matthews incident, the fielding side they weren't in position. They weren't ready, but Matthews were not there within, was it 90 seconds? Was it a T20 or ODI? I can't remember.
ODI World Cup.
Yeah, so he was not there within 2 minutes. So yeah, they appealed. So we're applying the law. Batter needs to be ready to face within 3 minutes over, Tom.
Question from Dieter Daniels for you, Abdullah. Can the fielder rub the ball on his or her forehead to get some sweat?
So Dieter, yeah, absolutely no issue. They do it, but you need to look closely. There shouldn't be any sunscreen on the forehead, but to get a bit of sweat, to get it on the ball, and then to rub it on the clothes, absolutely no issue to get some sweat off the forehead, but there should not be any sunscreen. If you do see any sunscreen, yeah, you need to intervene. Over, Tom.
Thanks, Dulap. Next question is from NK. If the ball condition is being changed after warning, regardless of the fielder who is changing the condition of the ball, will the bowler be suspended from the bowling attack? Abdullah, there's two instances. One is during the over and one is in between overs.
Okay, so Tom, so Neville is referring to the changing the condition of the match ball, not time wasting. So when it comes to time wasting, it depends on whether there is it happened during the over or not. But when it comes to changing the condition of the match ball, there are two punishments. If it happens the first time, it's only changing the ball if the captain wants it, and then 5 penalty runs. That's if it happens the first time. The second time it happens, this is where an additional punishment of suspending the bowler or removing the bowler from the attack being added to the punishment. So if it happens the second time, you'll again change the ball if the captain wants. You'll again give 5 penalty runs, but you'll now additionally remove the bowler from the attack who bowled the preceding ball. So Neville, depending on if it happened the first or the second time. If the first time, you won't suspend the bowler, you'll just give the 5 penalty runs. But if the second time, yes, now you will give the penalty runs and suspend the bowler. Over, Tom.
Thanks, Tula. Another question from NK. For a lost ball, once we have the replacement ball due to the lost ball being replaced, and after a few balls with the replacement ball, the lost ball is found, we cannot use the lost ball again. Is that correct? Even in the case that the replacement ball was new, let's say a similarly worn and torn ball was not available. So maybe the ball got lost after 10 overs, but we didn't have a ball that was 10 overs old. So we replaced it with a new ball. So now 5 balls later, using the replacement ball, the lost ball is found. Abdullah, are we going to throw that lost ball back into the field of play and reuse that lost ball because it was only gone for 5 deliveries? Or do we have to carry on playing with the replacement ball?
Tom, we have to carry on playing with the replacement ball. As soon as we replace the ball has been replaced. That is now the new match ball. And we need to continue playing with this new match ball. If later on there is a need for the new match ball now to be replaced, you can go back to the ball that was hit away. But as soon as you replace the ball and balls are bowled, that is now a new match ball, Tom, and that is the ball that's going to will have to be used going forward. Over.
Thanks, Dula. We have a name in Arabic. Abdullah, I can't read Arabic. I don't know if you can.
No, my Arabic is not that good. I can read Arabic, but it's not that good.
Okay. So they want to know, does the law allow for a batter to review a decision, or is reviewing of decisions only in playing conditions of certain tournaments? Dula?
The so the allowing of reviews, that's a playing condition that is part of international cricket, where the DRS, decision review system, is in place. So it is part of playing condition that allows um, batters to review decisions. In law, absolutely nothing in there that where a batter can challenge an umpire's decision. In law, umpires make the decision. Batter needs to put his or her bat under the arm and leave the field. Over, Tom.
Thanks, Dula. So I copied and pasted the name into Google Translate, and it's come up with Mr. Yamin Abdullah Salim. So there you go, Abdullah.
Yeah, I can. I mean, I can see my name in there. I can see Abdullah in there. In the middle part, I can.
Okay.
That's where I can see my name. Now that you're saying Yamin, I can see Yamin. Yeah, the second word is Yamin.
Okay.
So yeah, it is Yamin Abdullah. You're right. I can see it now.
Great. Sri Vijay Varma, Kadi Raju. On what basis do umpires conclude that a front foot no ball is intentional? Abdullah, you went through how to handle a deliberate front foot no ball, but you didn't tell us how you would judge whether it is deliberate or not. So please help us out as to how we can decide whether a no ball is deliberate or not.
So it depends. You need to look at the situation, and you need to understand why this law was brought in many years ago. And if you think of why would a bowler want to bowl a deliberate front foot no ball? So you'll find it in cases where let's say there were some words between the bowler and the striker. Let's say the striker hit the bowler for 4 sixes in a row. Now there's a bit of word. Obviously, the batter's gonna have a few words. Bowler also saying a few words back to the batter. So now after a bit of words between the bowler and the batter, and previously that bowler bowling from your side, was nowhere near the front foot, or let's say that front foot was always off and off. And then after some words between the bowler and the batter, suddenly the next delivery is like in that picture we saw. It's like literally almost a meter over, or close to a meter over the popping crease. So now that is an example of there was something that happened before, and the bowler now deliberately goes way over, because now the bowler wants to go over. He or she now wants to bowl quicker and try maybe to bounce or hurt the batter, because if you're way over, you're closer to the bowler, so the bowler the ball will get to the batter much quicker than usual. So that's an example where you take the situation into account in deciding when it is a deliberate front foot no ball. It's your judgment call that you need to make, and it's usually in cases where there is a bit of words between bowler and batter. Why would a bowler want to deliberately bowl a huge front foot no ball? So you look at the situation. I can use an example that happened to me. It wasn't last season. It was 2 seasons ago, where it was a young bowler. He was first trained. His name was Dean Forrester. He played for South Africa recently. So it was like his second game at first class level, and he came on first trains, and he And first over now. So this is about probably the 7th over of the game. So he came on first range. So the first ball that he bowled, he aborts his run up. So then the second ball, he aborts his run up. Third ball, he aborts his run up. He kept on losing his steps. For those that are bowlers, you'll know what I mean. So after the fourth time, the fourth time he turned around, you could see, he was sweating a bit, feeling the pressure now, because it's now the fourth ball in a row where he now abort his run up. So he hasn't bowled a ball yet, and he came to the wicket the fourth time. So now he goes back and he's now trying to do the fifth time now. So now, as he gets to the wicket, I could hear in my ears, his steps were out again. And he was taking these small steps to get to the wicket. And then, but he delivers the ball, but he was like literally, I promise you, a meter over. I got the fright of my life, because usually when you look at the front foot, it's slightly over. Suddenly you see this meter over, and I've never experienced it in my life before. And obviously now I see this for a split second, I got this fright, but I called no ball, and then he bowled it slightly wide of off stump, and the batter let it through. Then he turned around and was like, Dian, that was a huge no ball. I said, sorry, sorry. I lost my run up again, and I didn't want to pull out again. It's already ball number 5. I didn't want the captain to have a go at me. So I thought, let me bowl the ball. Even I knew I was way over. But so the point I'm just trying to make, yes, Dian was a meter over, but taking the context of what just happened, I didn't see that as a deliberate no ball. Yes, it was a no ball, which I called. It was more than cricket, so it was just a no ball. And then he went back to bowl. He then sorted his run up, and then he got the over done. So just the point I'm trying to make. Yes, it was a meter over, but I didn't see it as deliberate, taking into the context. So you need to take in context. You need to take in what happened in deciding whether you think it's deliberate or not. Over, Tom.
Thanks, Tula. Louis Duplessis says, if there is time wasting during an over, and we've given the first and final warning already, and it's by the fielding side, there will be no 5 penalty runs awarded. We will just remove the bowler from the attack. We don't give both punishments. Abdullah?
Yes, Louis is correct, Tom. You don't give both. Depending on where it happened, if during the over, the punishment is removing the bowler from the attack. If the time wasting is not during the over, the punishment is 5 penalty runs. So it's either of the two, not both, compared to when earlier I mentioned where there's changing the condition of the match ball. In the second punishment, there is both 5 penalty runs and removing the bowler, but that is unique to changing the condition of the match ball. But in time wasting, it's either or, depending on when it happened. Tom, over.
Thank you. Rifat has got a scenario for us to look at on YouTube. I have already looked at the scenario. It is a South Africa emerging a bowler grabbing a batter from Bangladesh by his grill of his helmet. So that falls under Law 42 player conduct, Rifat. We will be going through that tomorrow, and we will have a look at your video tomorrow and talk through it then. Tina Scrobler, for many offences, the laws of cricket, the procedures requires involvement from the fielding captain, the batters, or the relevant batter, and the umpires. However, there are cases where the batter does not need to be involved, or where the involvement differs. How do you logically distinguish when the batter or captains should be engaged, Or should we simply learn each law exactly as written without seeking a broader pattern? Abdullah, as far as I know, whenever there is 5 penalty runs awarded, we have to inform everyone. And sometimes we report the incident. Sometimes, according to the playing conditions, we don't report the incident. But as far as I know, as soon as 5 penalty runs are awarded, except for when the ball hits the helmet of the fielding side placed behind the wicketkeeper, then everybody has to be informed and the matter should be reported. I'm not sure if you know any exceptions to everyone being informed and the matter being reported, Abdullah.
I agree with you, Tom. So, I mean, this course covers the laws of cricket. So, according to the laws, if you look at under Law 41, there's a similar theme. It's always everyone needs to be informed, starting with your colleague, fielding captain, batters, batting captain, when possible, governing, shall report this to the governing body in every single subsection under Law 42. Similar theme. So yes, everyone needs to be informed. Over, Tom.
Thanks, Tula. Next question, also from Tinas. In terms of on-field management, it is often effective to have a quiet word with a player for a minor incident, like a bowler if his follow-through is landing too close to the protected area of the pitch. What advice would you give on handling this situation? When should an umpire simply have an informal word, and when should it become a more formal warning? Abdullah, the first time that a bowler goes into the protected area, are we going to give them their first caution? Or is there some leeway and working with the bowler practically? We know what the law says, but do we jump straight to the law?
So Tom, yes, we've covered what the law says tonight, and what I'm going to say now is, practical management of the case where bowler runs into the protected area. So you'll see in the law, it just says if the bowler goes in there, you'll first go caution, then you'll go final warning, and then third time remove the bowler from the attack. That's the law, but practically, we initially try to work with the bowler. So I mean, let's use a test match as an example. First over of the test match, day number 1, first over. Let's say Kagiso Rabada bowling. So first ball of the test match, Kagiso goes into the protected area. If you go strictly according to the law, because the law says if the bowler goes in there, you need to go caution. But what we do is first over of our test match, first ball, we'll first have a word with Kagiso. Say, Kagiso, you are running into protected area. Please, in your follow through, you need to get out of the protected area. So initially we'll have a word, a quiet word. We won't make a big scene. As Kagiso walks past me, I'll just whisper in his ears, KG, you're in the protected area. In your follow through, please, you need to get out. So initially you try to manage. You're not gonna go first ball of a test match, dishing out warnings for bowlers going in. Second time, see Kagiso go in. Again, I'll work with KG. Say, KG, second time now, you in. Please, you need to get out. So again, I'll just have a quiet word. So then, let's say the third time, KG is now going in again. I mean, now what I'll do is, I'll now bring in the fielding captain as well. I'll say, Cappy, this is now the third time I'm speaking to KG. I know he's running into the protected area. I cannot not do anything and continue him, letting him run in the protected area, yes, he will be scuffing up that protected area. So I'm just not a warning, but I'm just informing you. Third time now that I spoke to KG, he is in. I'm just letting you know, and I'm letting him know as well. But the next time, I need to manage this. Part of my job is to protect the protected area. So if KG goes in there the next time, I'm going to go and give that caution. So now initially I tried to manage the Tom, and then I brought in the fielding captain as well, letting him or her know that I've tried to manage it. And then when it happens, after trying to manage it, bowler's now away, fielding captain is away. So if KG now goes in there a fourth time and I do give a caution, no one is surprised. No one, KG can say, but umpire, I initially tried to work. This is now the fourth time that KG is in there. So yeah, that's just practically, how we try to manage it on field. Initially try to work with the bowler. After trying to work with the bowler, bring captain in, and bowler then continues. Now you can go, start with a caution and then with a final warning, and then remove the bowler from the attack. So so that's how we practically handle the situation, and also depending on the match situation. This is now the first over of the test match, or early first morning of the test match, where you will be a bit more lenient than compared to if it was late day 4, day 5. You'll then tend to be a bit more stricter. Again, match management, knowing the game, having a feel for the game, using your cricketing knowledge and expertise, when to be a bit more lenient, when to be a bit more firmer. There's no exact. Umpires are different. Umpires' management styles are different. I'm just giving you my management style. If it happens early, I'll try to manage it. If it happens late in the game, and where I need to be a bit more stricter in managing the protected area, I will definitely be a bit more stricter. No right or wrong. It's just depending on your management style, and I've given you my practical management style, how I deal with bowler going into the protected area. Over, Tom.
Thanks, Jula. Sandeep has a penalty time question for us. A fielder goes off the field at 4 p.m. on day 1, and the scheduled close of play is 4:30 p.m. Due to an illness. He returns to the field at 9:45 a.m. on day 2. And when he returns to the field, he says that he was injured in the dressing room on the morning of day 2, and that is why he didn't come out for the start of the day's play. When will we allow the fielder to bowl on day 2? Sandeep, we need to know what the start time is of day 2. Is it 9:30? Let's work with 9:30 since the close of play is 4:30. So Abdullah, first thing I want to know, that injury in the dressing room, does that mean that he does not have to serve penalty time for the time that he was not on the field on day 2? Because it was an external blow. Let's say he shows you his hand was cut.
No, Tom, it needs for external injury, it needs to happen on the field of play, in front of the umpires. We need to see it. So that is classified as external. Unfortunately, this fielder needs to serve that time that he was or she was not on. So it's 30 minutes on day 1. And if it was a 9:30 start and he only came on at 9:45, that's an additional 15 minutes. So 30 plus 15 is 45. So this bowler can bowl again at for 45 minutes, 9:30, 10:30. Sorry, yeah.
10:30. Yeah.
Unless there's maybe early drinks, you never know. But yeah, let's ignore drinks. 10:30 they can come on. They can bowl again. Over.
Thanks, Dula. And Sandeep did confirm that the start time was 9:30 on day 2. Neville has just confirmed the name of the Dallas Stadium, Grand Prairie Stadium.
Yeah, Grand Prairie.
which was Grand Nepal Stadium for
it was,
3 hours on that day.
It was amazing.
What an atmosphere. Yeah. Ridvik wants to thank us for answering his questions and also for the insightful session. You're welcome, Ridvik. Kartikeyan just answering an earlier question from NK, and Neville saying that the sessions are truly valuable and very informative and give him clear understanding of the laws and application. You're welcome, Neville. Ritwick wants to know, are the DRS rules governed by the playing conditions? Yes, they are. We answered that. And if yes, are they prescribed by the International Cricket Council or are they prescribed by the respective national governing bodies such as Cricket South Africa or the ECB or the BCCI? So Abdullah, the playing conditions for SA20, actually, let's use the IPL. The DRS playing conditions for the IPL are very different to the DRS playing conditions for international cricket. So are those written by the BCCI, and is the ICC writing the playing conditions for international cricket?
So Tom, the IPL has its own cricketing committee. Each of these tournaments, like IPL, even SA20 has its own committee that writes the playing conditions for the competitions. As the ICC, who's the governing body of international cricket, they also have a cricket committee that compiles the playing conditions for international cricket. So to answer your question, IPL has got its own cricketing committee. They've got who sits and compiles the playing conditions specific for the IPL. And yes, there are one or two things that the IPLs do different to international cricket, but that's their playing conditions compiled by the cricketing committee for the IPL. Over, Tom.
Thanks, Tula. Louis Delport, just wondering if the laws were written before the invention of the switch hit, and the new laws may consider changing the rule of a batter changing their stance, and if the ball is pitching outside leg, now it's pitching outside the off stump with a proposed new law. So, Louis, the laws and the playing conditions are updated regularly. The laws are updated by the Marylebone Cricket Club, the custodians of the laws of cricket. The 2026 edition will be the 4th edition since the latest update, which was 2017, or the latest code, which was 2017. And the changes of the laws do look at new trends, but they have not decided in the 2026 update to make two sides, or let's say to change the leg stump to the off stump if a batter plays a switch hit or a reverse sweep. Incidentally, the playing conditions of most limited overs cricket around the world, if a batter shapes to play a reverse sweep or a switch hit, both sides become the offside in terms of judging of a wide. Okay, so that is giving something to the bowlers giving them a wider area to bowl to. If a batter plays a switch hit or a reverse sweep, or shapes to play a switch hit or a reverse sweep, in terms of judging a wide, both sides become the offside in terms of those wide guidelines that you have on the offside. But for leg before wicket, you only have one offside and you only have one leg side, and it is determined at the time when the bowler starts his or her run up, or when the ball comes into play for that delivery, and it will remain the offside for the duration of that delivery. So Louis, maybe it will change in future, but not in 2026. Sri Vijay, thanks for explaining the scenarios. You're welcome, Sri Vijay. Kartikeyan also thanking for the session, as well as Sandeep and Ritvik. Now we've got our famous hand in the meeting room. And before I ask him to unmute his microphone, I am going to activate all of your microphones and your cameras. So in a few seconds, Rifat, please unmute your microphone. The floor is yours to ask your question.
Hello, Tom and Abdullah. How are you? Thank you
Good.
for giving me a chance.
Yes, good. Thanks. Go ahead, Rifat.
Okay, I have a small question about sledging. In destruction of batter, sledging is the one reason I think many years ago it comes news headlines, especially Australia uses sledging when when they don't out the opposing batter. So do you think is it punishable, sledging? Because it is continuous process, not a single time.
Okay, so Abdullah, is sledging punishable? The Australians were famous for sledging in the 90s and the early 2000s. I think umpires around the world have gotten good control of sledging recently. But can it be also considered as a deliberate deception of a batter, as in law 41.5? How do we control it, Abdullah?
So Rifat, sledging is part of the game. It's been part of the game for centuries, and yeah, we allowed it. I've heard many a good sledges over, or chirps over the years. Yeah, we allow it as long as the chirping or sledging is not personal, not racial, nor religious. If it's good cricketing chirps, we as umpires, allow it, as long as they don't get into each other's personal spaces. And as I said, it's not racial, religious, or personal. Yeah, we tend to allow it. With player sledging or chirping the batter, as soon as the bowler gives his or her first step, fielders needs to be quiet. We need to manage it. If I do see there is still talking or still clapping if the bowler is running in, I will intervene and I will tell the fielding side, or they need to stop clapping or chirping or talking as soon as the bowler runs in. There is a law that protects the bowler. If you as the umpire, a law that protects the batter. We've covered it tonight. It's law 41.4. If you feel there was a deliberate distraction of the batter before he or she receive the delivery as the bowler is running in, and fielder deliberately try to distract by any way, whether it's clapping or chirping or shouting, whatever the case may be, there is a law. You need to protect the striker. You call and signal dead ball, and 5 penalty runs is part of the punishment. So usually I manage it. If I do hear it while the bowler is running in, I put stop to it immediately. I speak to the player and I speak to the fielding captain. It should not be happening while the bowler is running in. You do have the law that backs you. If at any time there is a deliberate distraction, there is a punishment for it, and how to deal with it. Over, Tom.
Thanks, Dula. Next hand up, Dieter Daniels. Please unmute your microphone. Rifat, we can come back to you if you've got another question after Dieter.
Good evening, Tom and Abdullah. Thank you for the informative session. Abdullah, Tom, you can answer as well. When the fielding side applies sweat to the ball by rubbing the ball against the head, and when an umpire says something, then the answer would always be, but we are allowed to add sweat to the ball. But then my argument will be, but must I check your forehead to see what is on your forehead, because there could be either sunscreen or anything on it. How do you guys sort of remedy, or how would you handle a situation where you find a fielder rubbing the ball on the forehead?
Dula, you want to take that one?
Yes, Tom. So, Dieter, you have the right as umpire to go have a closer look. Have a look at that forehead. And they usually rub it on the head or on the top part of the forehead. Sometimes some of them do have a bit of sunscreen on the forehead, but you have all the right to have a closer look. If at any you see sunscreen on that forehead and they're rubbing it on, you can intervene. They're not allowed, if there are sunscreen there, to rub that ball on the forehead. So if you feel it's not, there might be a case, go have a closer look. You have the right to go if there are any sunscreen on that forehead. But usually they rub it on top of the head just to get a bit of sweat on it so that they can rub it on there. But if your gut tells you, if you see sunscreen, you have the right to go have a closer look, because they're not allowed to rub or put any artificial substance on the ball. Over, Tom.
Thanks, Dula. Next hand up is Sandeep. Sandeep, please unmute your microphone. The floor is yours.
Good evening, Tom. Good evening, Abdullah. Tom, just I want to ask one, exam-related questions. That is, I want to know how we answer questions in the exam. I have to answer. Suppose, for example, I have to answer one law, like judging a white. Should we write all the laws of white one by one, or express, it is in our understanding?
Sandeep?
Yeah, please.
Good question. You do not have to answer the questions verbatim as per law. And for those of you who don't know the word verbatim, it means exactly word for word. So you just need to put down your understanding of the law that is being tested. And if your understanding is correct as per the law, then you will get the mark. You do not have to memorize the law book. You do not need to have a photographic memory to be able to write word by word what the law book says. So just understand the law and write your understanding of the law when it is asked. I hope that answers your question, Sandeep.
Yeah, but see, what is the exact? Actually, if I take one, white ball, judging a white. If I take this one, there are five steps are there, isn't it? So if I write down in the exam, what will be the correct one? I know that what would be the correct one that is written by in this law book. That's why I have the confusion in that there are multiple, explanations written over there. So what will be the exact answer in the examination I have to write?
So Sandeep, what will help you in the exam is to check the mark allocation for each question. So if a question only has 1 mark, then you only need to write 1 line. You don't need to write 5 different points. If a question has got 5 marks, then you will have to write 5 different points in your answer. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
You're welcome. Great stuff. Rifat, did you have another question that you wanted to ask? If so, please unmute your microphone. The floor is yours.
No, Tom, I have no question. I have a request for you. Tom, do you have a Soikot's email address? If you have, please give me the Soikot Bhai's email address to me. I will contact with him.
Rifat, I will ask him first if I can give you his email address, and then if he says yes, then I will forward it to you. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Right, I do not see any more questions or comments in the chat box. I do not see any more hands up in the meeting room. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all of you for your attendance and your interaction. We will reconvene once again for the last time tomorrow for lecture number 6. Abdullah will take us through Law 42, and then I will take you through a click-by-click demonstration of how the Cricket South Africa Level 2 online exam works, and we'll also talk through the logistics for those who will be writing at Newlands Cricket Ground. Thank you very much once again. We'll see you all tomorrow. Have a great day further. Thank you and goodbye.